Hey, collective, welcome back to Intentional Conversations. I am Sheila, your host. Today, we're going to be talking about what happens when attachments turn unhealthy and why discernment is always needed, but sometimes the most compassionate response for everyone involved is how can you move from this with discernment in a compassionate way to respond to someone that's involved in this, right? So this is a grounded conversation about clarity, empowerment, and choosing peace in a dynamic that crossed the line. Somebody has overreached. Okay, collective. So in a collective, not all harm is loud, and I just want to keep reiterating it over and over and over again until you guys understand that indirect harm is harm. It doesn't have to be a loud harm, it's a silent harm. And somebody in the collective, this is again about why, especially in the Christian atmosphere, that you need to stay in prayer consistently at all times. I mean, no question, no cap. You better stay in prayer at all times, okay? Keep your head on a swivel of 360 degrees out here in these spiritual streets. Okay, collective? Sometimes the harm looks like constant attention. Somebody's just overly focused on you. Sometimes it's intimidation. Sometimes it's people being overly involved in some type of concern or supposed loyalty that has become extremely unhealthy. More or less, it's like someone may have created some form of attachment or narrative on you that is so fixated that it could show up as somebody stalking you, monitoring you consistently, copying everything you do consistently, inserting themselves in your life without even having access or permission to do so. Someone has been so intrusive that they have um, pretty much wanted to. I see someone with like looking into your life without permission. It's almost like you go to a network and somebody sees you and they become overly involved in helping you with a project, overly involved in helping you in your life decisions, and you don't know who the hell this person is. You're like, who are you? I am completely capable of making decisions for my life. And they're like, no, you can't. I need to help you. I need to tell you what you need to do. You need, and somebody won't stop. So somebody end up making a maybe someone who don't know how to boundaries, like the boundaries is now not a connection, but an intrusion of your whole space, your mind, your body, your spirit. And somebody has not asked you permission. They're just inserting themselves and telling everybody that they're concerned and loyal. I'm a loving individual. I just mean the best for this person. And the whole time they have entrapped you in some kind of toxic manipulation, copying, or inserting themselves in your life with no permission all this time. So someone has been very disingenuous in their behavior, trying to hide it as helpfulness in the collective to a degree where they have caused someone emotional and physical harm in secret, thinking it's support, quote unquote, with strings attached, that is not support. And this is what's been going on in the collective. And we're going to see this is not just one person that's going through this, but a multitude of people who have been stringed in these attachments and they're not being supported, even with someone claiming that they're supporting them. There have been a lot of gossip and lies that um, doesn't inform people. It is actually creating some sort of controlling narrative about the collective. And this chaos keep those narrative harm entangled. So someone's creating some sort of confusion and chaos based on the narrative they have created to keep people entangled. Okay. And someone may have also used technology in these patterns to control constant access to you, doing digital surveillance, which is computer hacking, cell phone hacking, in some sort of avenue to emotionally disguise themselves as I am connected to you in disguise, but I'm emotionally not available to you. So someone is doing something off in a distance where they're not in your space to physically project some sort of emotions to you. They're doing it off from a technology based, um, I call it disassociation, where they're disengaging or cloaking themselves in a way where they're trying to hide themselves amongst the faces of people while they're doing this psychological and emotional harm to you. Somebody got too much goddamn time out here in these spiritual streets, collective. And they're not just doing it to one person. I think they have done this to many other people. And people in the collective, you know, you need to definitely learn to do some cord cutting. Some of you need to really think about who you're interacting with on social media. These people out here in the collective, I don't care if they got 100,000 people and they seem like the most likable people that never do anything crazy. They probably got people in the closet tied up. You don't know what these people may be doing out here in these spirited streets and their intentions and their motives of what they're doing on social media. Someone may be needing to discern. I feel like a collective need to wake up and start to discern what they're associating with on social media, especially something like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Who are you looking at? Who are you discerning? You need to have your higher discernment about people, not take it as face value nor gossip. You need to find out the truth through your own intuition and not allow these people to create narratives so long to the point where they have caused you and other people harm by placing you in this entanglement. And so people need to really interact. What is bringing me clarity and not confusion in these matters when you're hanging out or engaging with people? Is it bringing you clarity, or has it prolonged your confusion? I also feel too that people need to empower themselves. If the conversation that you're seeing on social media, is it draining you or is it empowering you? And we have to be really mindful that there's people who have abused good people with these surveillances on social media with some sort of draining energy. So these people who are really good people, unprotected, probably posting videos on social media to engage with the community, is being cast upon in a negative light that's causing a very draining environment in the collective. Collective need to do consistent cord cuttings. Even these light workers out here need to do consistent cord cuttings or energy clearings to protect themselves from these people who are using some sort of surveillance through your technology. You post a post and they're using your post as a siphoning of draining your good energy. And then when other people are looking at your post, it's draining them too. So a lot of you need to be mindful of that, but also be mindful of placing protection of everything you do before posting online. You need to have extra security and protection over everything. Everything you need to do now has to have some sort of protection over it when you before you post. Protect it. If you forget, go to your back to your post, ask for clearing, remove any draining energies off of your post, and then protect the post. Keep protecting your online content. I do feel like again, intuition is about being respected and not overridden. Somebody's trying to override you without your permission and do some sort of distortion against you through social media. True allies do not compete, copy, or destabilize you. And in this collective, we have been dealing with people who have been siphoning and copying and mimicking you. And such repetition is strange and is odd. And it's showing that these people have not learned their own inner strength nor self mastery, and then want to teach others this same destabilizing misalignment in the collective. Okay, so these people are losing their spiritual authority, thinking that they're gaining authority, and they're not. And so, with that being said, people need to respect boundaries and celebrate people's autonomy at the same time in the collective. I feel like a lot of you are being coerced by destabilized individuals who are pushing out glamour spiritual languages to the collective to 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 only find out that a lot of you have who had spiritual authority has lost your spiritual authority by following these people because they have stolen your authority, and now you're running around the spiritual realm almost in a beggar lack mentality state. I feel like a lot of you actually went into a drought or a spiritual starvation where you become codependent on leaders and official people or elite people or elders that are also in drought, but you can't tell because you don't have the sight, and they have been draining you, and you are literally begging and have become emotionally and spiritually codependent and have given your authority away to people that you once had. And now these people need to reclaim their spiritual authority. Stop mimicking people, stop copying people, and stop getting into this state of lack. I mean, somebody has created someone has created such a narrative where these people who didn't have these insecurities are having these insecurities, and now they're reacting upon it in spirit. And now these people are running around yelling at people, chasing people down that nobody know who these people are. This is a reactive state of, I call that spiritual misalignment, that is destabilizing a community based on a narrative of someone who's leading the pack in their own insecurities. The collective really need to watch what they're doing out here. And there's a lot of spiritual practices that's involving in this fear drought mentality. And these people are starving, seeking material resources and spiritual power that they have given away. And they don't know why they keep running in drought. I'm like, y'all, you're running some of the stole shit. So, not to be mean, but you was all right before, but now you look like a daggone, energetic vampire crackhead, and you're running around siphoning everybody in the collective because the leader them stole your authority. You didn't have to go around stealing people's stuff at first. Now you are. So now you have created a whole drought of people that need to be healed from this this demonic possession that you have collected over the people. Did I say it like that? Yes, I did. Um, sprinkle, sprinkle. So that a collective, you need to go into healing. A lot of you who are hearing this, you've been following people and maybe doing things that you would not spiritually adapt for. Maybe you gave your authority away, and now you have to regain your authority. And it's going to be a battle. I'm not going to tell you right now that you're not going to have some down moments. It's going to feel like a energetic withdrawal. And you're going to really see that you thought you was gaining power and you gave it away. Okay, collective. And I'm not playing when I say it. I've seen some of the people who had real good spiritual authority running around in the astral realm like they're on some crackhead beggar state. I don't know what's going on, collective. And I need to explain myself. So let me explain it. Right now, there's in a collective, there's a drought going on, right? There's people who are in drought that are teaching other people drought. And people say, what that mean? So it's in the collective, people have learned how to energetically transfer energy, mind, body, and spirit, blessings, whatever it is. What people are failing to see is that these things are forbidden, and they have now started to share this information amongst the collective without real protection, right? It's not just protection, but what they're misaligning themselves is, why are you giving away your authority to lack? Instead of creating the wealth, the rain, the water, the abundance, the light that gives you this manifestation ability to prosper in your life without having to steal and siphon it from other people. That is not true power. A lot of you are watching people trying to exhibit and mimic, follow everything you do to a T, thinking that they're going to get into alignment by following you. And that is not correct. That's not their life path. And that's not their energy. That's not their alignment into their own spiritual awakening. They can't even take time to find themselves in their authority to be able to live without having to steal, chase, and harm someone. This fear has polluted the environment to a degree where it has to come to an end. There's a lot of spiritual stuff happening in the collective that's being broken right now. And the shakeup is in 2026, all the way for the next several years. It's going to be a great shakeup. I do see a spirit over here. Oh my God, that's a very interesting spirit. And so the collective is going to be seeing some changes where boundaries are having to be set. And a lot of you guys who have been going in this unhealthy dynamic, you're not going to be confronted about it. We're just trying to empower you without having to confront you about it. by requiring you to consistently stop looking at other people, what they got going on, and you trying to judge it or mimic it without your own discernment of who you are. Like, why are you trying to become Denzel Washington? You're not Denzel. Like, that's what I'm saying to people. You're not Janet Jackson. What are you doing? I want to embody her. Stop. Embody yourself. You're great too. It's like I see people casting away their greatness, trying to capture somebody else's greatness. That's not alignment. That's not alignment at all. Okay. So collective, whatever distorted a narrative that's been going in the collective that has been harming a great multitude of people, the game is over. The real game is over. There's not a retaliation. It's just a simple removal. And justice is arriving very quietly through separation and people who are going to restore themselves and some sort of trust. They're going to start trusting themselves that they're capable of creating the life that they want without having to go into some sort of spiritual language of harm, because this is what they're doing. They're learning some sort of spiritual language or spiritual mythology where it's causing them great harm, not just harm to themselves, but to a multitude of people who are also being harmed indirectly by this same influence. And so this influence is being severed silently. Let's pray that this unhealthy connection, and I have to say something else before I go into prayer. In a vision I saw that is in the vision I saw a whole bunch of psychics in the collective who's been also inserted into this mass. I call it tree of thieves. That's what I call it. I call it the tree of thieves. It's an energetic thought form, or some of you guys will call it Aragon, something like that. But either way, I think it's a thought form that has been collectively manifest by some practice of sorts. And I see a whole bunch of psychics, intuitive people, maybe even some pastors, some Christians out here, and they're all attached to this hub, this energetic, unhealthy hub. And they've been tapped into this energy in the storyline for several years, and they're energetically being siphoned. And what's happening in the collective is that very soon you will see the course cutting either today or the next few days, weeks, coming up into the spring, that this hub is being severed quietly, not in a loud, for big event. You'll just start to see yourself become more grounded, and a different storyline will start to develop because these cords are disconnecting from your spine. And you will see these cords unhook from your spine, and it will dissolve, and a lot of you will start to um, get away from this narrative that's been polluting the collective for several years now, and it will not come back. By the way, will not this energetic distortion is not going to be reborn or remanifest as well. But I do see the collective, all the psychics, all the healers, all the people who've been victim of this energetic drain, this massive hub, this massive working, uh, being released. And so you'll see changes coming ahead. So let's do a prayer. Lord Jesus Christ, heal what has been strained by unhealthy attachments, restore clarity where confusion tries to take hold, and remove all access, rooted in control, intimidation, or fear. Strengthen discernment and let peace be the final authority. Amen. And the last few things I'm going to say is that your recommendation that I recommend is that you reduce your digital access and emotional access on social media, to now maybe limit your access to social media. If you do, you need to protect yourself before you watch social media, and definitely seriously limit your time on social media. Also, stop over explaining your boundaries. If you've got extremely high boundaries, keep them high and don't explain it. And also document patterns, that instead of debating about them to people, document those patterns, journalize those patterns, and then prioritize your rest and your nervous system to be regulated. because this is definitely affecting everyone's nervous system right now in the collective. This is not new. Nervous system is not a new phase or new persona. It's been something you should know about for many years now. I don't want people to be getting fixated on the nervous system when it's always been there. Okay. All right. Seek professional help, maybe a pastor help. If you're feeling stressed or fearful, if it starts to increase in the next couple of weeks, and also discern your supports with being stable. That means it can never replace spiritual stuff. Help can never replace real world care. But in closing, I will say if you like to have a grounded and want some support, I do offer some Christ aligned written emails that you can call. You can book for services. I do also do space alignment healing. That's putting you back into alignment in your home space if things feels off. These services are designed for clarity, peace, and empowerment, not fear or dependency. If you'd like to go to my website, it's called eyeleofficial.com. This is where you will feel supported. And I will not do anything that's performative. So if you're expecting that, you're not coming to the right place. In closing, healing does not argue. Empowerment does not chase explanation. And when access ends, clarity begins, collective. I thank you for joining me on this intentional conversation. Stay grounded, stay discerning, stay prayed up, and stay intentional. Have a great day.